What's such a boy Vaughn of the reaction? In today's video, we have When Your Whole Life is on the Internet by Trap University. You know, this nigga upload every single day. So
28 on May 7th, 2026. And the first video uploaded on his channel is from February 20th, 2012, which, at the time of my recording, was 14 years ago. And this video was uploaded a few months before his 14th birthday, meaning that by next year, Jimmy will have officially been a YouTuber for longer than he wasn't. And there's really no easy way to word this, but what I'm saying is by next year, technically, he can say that he's been a
is Mr. Beast's whole life really on the internet, though?
YouTuber for more than half the time that he's been alive. That's insane. But I guess it's kind of like how LeBron has been in the NBA for 20 years, despite the fact that he was still under 20 when he got drafted. But this must be a weird experience, having a huge portion of your life on the internet. But there's different levels to it. Like you have Neon, who's been on YouTube since he was 12 because he's
that nigga brother look way better than him.
Started about 10 years ago, which means
this nigga Neon was faking his death for views, nigga. Like Mr. Beast was doing shit like that. Nigga Mr. Beast was just saying words 10,000 times and shit. Like
means that he's been a content creator for about 54%
Neon brother mauled him
of the time he's been alive.
Alright, before we start this video, I just want to say I'm sorry I haven't been uploading too much, just been focusing on school a little bit.
But then,
God dang.
On a whole other level, you have Farhan from the royalty family. And even if you're not 11, you've probably still
Who? But I never watched these niggas.
Still seen or heard of this channel because it's huge.
Nope.
Huge, but the kid is 15, okay? And right now, a lot of the content seems to revolve around, I guess, puberty? Like, will my mom like my new girlfriend? I crashed my mom's car. Anyway, you get it. First day of high school, I found my long-lost dad. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at that one, but damn, bro, look at this AI thumbnail expression. How can I look at this and take it as a serious moment? He actually did the face. I guess this video was just like a prank that he was pulling on his stepdad, but he's gonna grow up one day, and I can't imagine going on YouTube right now and seeing my 15-year-old self with my girlfriend from, what, freshman?
Nigga ass kind of look like Lamine Yamal.
Year of high school? Anyway, he first appeared on the channel in 2017, and he was born in 2010. So that's 46% of his life so far that he's been on his mom's family channel. And while technically, since Farhan started at age 7, his percent is lower than Neon, but by the time he is Neon's age, assuming that the channel is still going when he's off in college or something, that'll be almost 70% of the time he's been alive spent on YouTube. Just imagine that, because let's be real,
My boy mama is fine as fuck though.
Remember way more of your childhood after 7 than before. So that's basically his entire childhood and now early teenage years captured online forever. 12 billion views. I don't think any of us could imagine our childhood being seen 12 billion times. Now I know it's not really his childhood because these videos could be scripted, but it just reminds me of Josh Peck kind of implying that he was embarrassed with the fact that his awkward teenage years are forever on the internet from old episodes of Drake and Josh. But I would argue that this is a bit different because a YouTube video is a bit more accessible than an episode of a TV show from 20 years ago. And I just wonder what the effect is on people who have essentially their entire life on the internet. And every experience is unique, like Farhan and Mr. Beast probably don't have the same experience with this as someone like PewDiePie. Because despite the fact that he's been on YouTube for 15 years now, he was around 21 when he started. So he went through his entire childhood and teenage years without anyone knowing who he was because he was in college by the time he took YouTube serious. But a guy that convinces me of one of the effects is Neon. And that's the pressure being too much for a kid's brain. Because in case you don't know, when Neon was like 15, he faked his death for views.
Yup. You guys would not be. But this was the time, bro. You had niggas like Sernando, nigga making fake GTA 6 videos and getting millions of views. Niggas was doing anything. Niggas was doing don't call Chucky at 3 a.m. videos. Like,
and while this might just look like a guy who was always willing to do anything,
this was kind of like a corny year for YouTube.
For views, it's important to look at it from a different angle. Like he was already trying to blow up on YouTube as a middle schooler. So already his mind was on a different level than the average 12-year-old. Because when I was 12, I thought it would be really cool to be famous and make money being a full-time entertainer. And even though I would watch YouTube every day, it never crossed my mind as a 12-year-old to make a YouTube video. And it's not even like I was overthinking it. I just wasn't thinking about it at all. But some kids, like Neon and Speed, had this goal and actually went after it with full dedication.
Yeah.
which is crazy because I could barely dedicate myself to be a C student at that age. But when he faked his death, I think Neon had hit a point where he was making content for a few years and he just wasn't where he wanted to be, and he probably couldn't figure out why. And I understand that because as a teenager, I definitely had times where I felt like I should have been more ahead at something than I actually was, which in hindsight, I was a kid, but in my mind, at 15, I was almost an adult. And I felt kind of like those red pill kids where I was thinking, why don't I have $100,000 yet? Like, just go to school, bro. But anyway, the pressure. Just imagine you spent all this time grinding as a kid. You're not thinking about going to college. I remember when I was trying to figure out how to get my family out the hood in high school, I started ditching school every day because I thought that my goal was more important than school. But I didn't even have a real plan. I was just ditching school. But with all the stupid decisions I made then, I can only imagine if I had tasted a tiny bit of success during that time, because I probably would have felt even more pressure. But this isn't groundbreaking information. The internet can do strange things to a developing brain. Like, for instance, Jack Doherty. People dislike him so much at this point that it's hard to even remember where it started. But he didn't fall off, at least that much. He's still big on Kick, which helps him get clipped, which contributes to him not falling off. Oh, yeah, and I guess the 360 OF contracts that these girls keep signing with him also helps because I guess it beats working for minimum wage. But what he is today is the result of 10 years of mastering social media, or at the very least, mastering how to capitalize and make a lot of money. No matter the cost. Because remember, it all started here with Jack flipping cups in 2016. So how do we get from this to gambling sponsorships, being a public nuisance, and profiting off adult content? Well, in my
Bro, a terrible person for what the hell he did with his ex, bro. She exposed everything, bro.
opinion, part of it has to be the fact that he's been famous and probably felt the pressure to become more famous since before he could grow facial hair. I mean, he still doesn't have facial hair, but at his age he probably should. But anyway, it's also a clear sign that he was thinking on a different level at a young age. Like, it's not like the royalty family situation with Farron, where he just happened to be there when his mom created
Farron, your mama bad. I ain't
age.
never
Like,
watched.
it's not like the royalty
Your mama bad as fuck, like, on bro.
family situation with Farron, where he just happened to be there when his mom created a channel, because she was already on that level, as I've even read that she was making
Damn, like, damn.
content in Colombia before he was born. But Jack being
She a Colombian. Okay.
13 and fully grasping what it was to be a YouTuber by 14 is a lot. Like, on one hand, I want to say it was mature because I couldn't do it at his age. I couldn't really focus on anything. But then on the other hand, as a 13-year-old, I feel like it also kind of stunted his growth, because when something becomes your job, you of course are going to look at ways to improve, especially if you generate a lot of money doing it. And just off his YouTube alone as a child, I can tell you that he was making a lot, because just doing 2 million views in a month can earn you anywhere from $7,000 to $20,000, depending on your channel. And 2 million views in a month is really not that much when you think about a really big YouTube channel, or even a medium-sized YouTube channel. But at his peak on YouTube, he was doing 10 million views per video. And this was before he started streaming, so once he started doing both and understanding the importance of clips, he probably he clearly just started focusing on staying viral, which might seem like it's something that you have to do, but if you have a following, you definitely can still earn a living without really going viral. But I imagine being used to a certain lifestyle since like 8th grade, you, as a high schooler, would do anything to keep that going, especially after 18, when the bills really start to hit. But
the bills gotta get paid.
he didn't really start making
that content start to fall off, so he probably didn't know what to branch on to and what to do next.
Type of content that gave him his current reputation until he was an adult. And just based on him being who he is, I don't think he's embarrassed about part of his childhood being on YouTube, because it looks like he accomplished everything he was trying to do. But I can't help but feel that now he has a warped view of the world because of it. Like, he does things that people dislike him for, and we can say he does it for views, but that also means that he has no problem harassing people or just genuinely treating every human he came into contact with like content because, well, they were. And I'm sure he doesn't feel like he's taking advantage of these girls because they're only around him in the first place to leech off him. But none of this can be healthy. He started as a naive kid that grew up into a clout goblin, and now he lives in a house full of OF demons that pay him, and he still gets made fun of. Like, I wonder, who are his real friends? Or does he even have any? Oh yeah, and Jack's also been on the internet for about 40% of his total existence at this point. But regardless, I wanted to make a deep dive on family channels for some time, but I just didn't want to go too hard on them in this video because the family channels that were very bad for kids, we already know about those guys, and they're no longer platformed, at least some of them. I can't really speak for all the accounts on TikTok, but I guess it's possible that on some of these popular YouTube channels, it is an enjoyable experience for the kids and they're definitely set up for life. But family channels alone don't show the full scope of what I'm talking about. Because obviously, there are people who put themselves on the internet as children. And as a result, they come into adulthood with a significant portion of their life experience being intertwined.
Yeah, I know Speed went through a lot, especially with that meat leak shit. His meat leaking, like, bro, that nigga got Speed. Literally got the most famous meat leak ever. Everybody seen that shit. Pause. Like, that's crazy.
With
I know
content
bro want to put a damn double barrel to his head. Like Speed was. I remember Speed posted some on his story, and he had cuts on his wrist. Like I remember that he posted on his story a picture of his wrist, and he had cuts on it. Like I remember that shit.
creation, which is very interesting to think about. YouTube has been around for a long time, like majority of my life. And it's crazy that before platforms like this, a kid had no chance of being a content creator. Or really, no one really had a chance of being a content creator. You had to go to like auditions and try to get in a movie or a TV series and possibly have to deal with a creepy Hollywood producer. But, I mean, clout is clout. And no matter how you get it, it'll change your life. And getting it too early seems pretty detrimental. Like, I'm glad that y'all never got to listen to me trying to drop some knowledge when I was 14. Because, wow, that'd be embarrassing. But I am seriously considering doing a deep dive on family channels. Because I feel like there's a lot to talk about there. But that's all I got for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Make sure to comment, subscribe, and my deuces. Shit, I actually been doing YouTube. I'm 19. I've been doing YouTube since 2017. But the channel that got all my shit, all my videos from 2017, they got taken down. I got Fortnite live streams, reactions, like